Alright, everybody, we're here live now with an emergency live stream. We have an incredibly intense supercell right now in eastern Colorado. This is approaching northwestern Kansas as we speak. This is to the southeast of Ray. We have an extremely large and life-threatening hailstorm right now happening. We have tennis ball-sized hail already reported from this storm, and it looks to be getting worse as we now are measuring 80 dBZs near Beecher Island, Colorado. And they did just go ahead and condense that tornado warning, because yes, this is also a tornado warned storm. Look at that hook echo. This is a very classic supercell, and again, it is an extremely dangerous storm. So if you're included in the tornado warning, the severe thunderstorm warnings, even with this, we need you to seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building and away from windows. So that definitely includes St. Francis and Wheeler, and we're also going to be watching areas off to the west of that along Highway 36. Armel, you've got minutes. This is coming in hot. Again, massive hailstorm. This is going to shatter windows. It's going to smash cars. If you leave your pets outside, there's a good chance that they get hurt in this as well. So if you have time down the line, make sure to bring those in. We do already have power outages because of this storm producing damaging winds as well of 65 to 70 miles per hour at times likely. So we're going to keep track of this supercell. This supercell, by the way, has been going for a long time, alright? If we take a look at things here, we can see that going as far back as 50 frames, right, this supercell is already going in northeastern Colorado. This is the one that we were watching last stream, and it evolved quickly. And look at this. We had a very dangerous supercell, and it's getting worse, once again, with an incredibly defined hook echo there. I mean, it's, again, an 80 dBZ storm, which is indicative of very large hail. I'd say up to large apple-sized hail with this storm. So, again, if you're in this area, we need you to seek shelter immediately. This is an extremely dangerous hailstorm again, that could also have the potential to produce a tornado. It was rotating more impressively earlier, but again, it's still rotating a little bit there, so we'll continue to watch things. But again, it was kind of around the Ray-Eckley area that we were really concerned about this thing producing a tornado. But now that it's further off to the southeast, we'll continue to watch things. It may have already produced a brief tornado near Vernon, but that's not anything confirmed. That's just speculation based on how strong the velocities were. So we can't confirm that right now. We were a little bit far away from the radar site at that time, so those velocities are elevated as well, but again, there's a good chance that we had a tornado there, alright? It's definitely a possibility. I wouldn't say it's likely, but it's possible, alright? So, new reflectivity scan here, still showing a very defined hook echo, and again, this is still a very large hailstorm here. Not quite as impressive as it was on the last scan, but again, still a very dangerous storm right now, approaching the Colorado-Kansas state line near St. Francis. Again, we need you to seek shelter immediately if you're included in this tornado warning or just in this severe thunderstorm warning in general, as this is a massive hailstorm. So, let me pull up stream chat here. Again, I was not expecting to go live again for severe weather today. I really wasn't. But here we go. So again, if you're just now tuning in, we have an absolutely massive hailstorm right now approaching the Colorado-Kansas state line. We are seeing hail up to tennis ball size, maybe as large apple size with this storm, and it could also produce a tornado at any minute. So if you're included in this tornado warning, seek shelter immediately. If you know anybody out here in this area, make sure they're okay, make sure that they know what's going on, and they're seeking shelter immediately. Again, this is a very dangerous storm right now. Very dangerous. So we'll keep watching this. Train weather spotters reported tennis... Excuse me. Train weather spotters reported tennis ball-sized hail 5 miles east of Vernon at 4:51 p.m. Mountain. Again, last scan, I mean, it was looking like a monstrous supercell, and it really still is. It's really still quite intense, but not quite as intense as it was, but it's had its phases here. Again, this thing has been going for hours, guys. I mean, we go 50 frames back, and we don't even see the birth of it yet. So, it's been a pretty big hailstorm for quite a while, and again, it's getting very, very intense now as it approaches St. Francis in Kansas, Hale, Colorado, Armel, Colorado. Again, this is on top of you at this point. It is about to start hailing incredibly heavy if it hasn't already. So again, we need you guys to seek shelter immediately. And if we check the velocities here, again, it's broad rotation, but it was a little bit more tight earlier. Let me turn on my light here. The lighting's kind of iffy. That's a little better. But yeah, again, very large hailstorm right now. Incredibly large hailstorm, I'd say. And again, it produced that tennis ball-sized hail kind of, not even really at its peak intensity spot. So, again, I mean, this is just a really intense storm. Again, it could produce a tornado, but again, at the very least, we know we're seeing up to tennis ball-sized hail with this thing, maybe even up to large apple-sized hail or larger, considering that wasn't even at the peak of its intensity. And again, it's knocking out power here as well in portions of Yuma County. So again, all these little reports that you're seeing here are from this one supercell. You can see that it's had 60-mile-an-hour winds, tennis ball-sized hail, and again, maybe even a tornado now. What's up, random Texan guy? Again, if you're just not tuning in, very, very dangerous storm right now along the Colorado-Kansas state line, capable of producing a tornado, as well as tennis ball-sized hail. If you're included in this tornado warning, we need you to seek shelter immediately. Again, this is a really impressive storm. It really is. I mean, I was not expecting to see something like this today. I really wasn't. By the way, we had a tornado warning earlier today in central New York, just a couple hours ago. Not even. It's like an hour ago. Not even that. It's like 45 minutes ago. But yeah, I mean, just look at this inflow, guys. Again, very dangerous supercell that could produce a tornado at any minute. And again, also producing incredibly large hail. Give me 1 minute here. Again, that's your rotation. It's pretty broad at this point, but still something to look out for. So, bring it back to the reflectivity. Give me just a second here. Alrighty. Okay. Yeah, so that's another thing. We now have potential Tropical Cyclone 5 in the Atlantic, right in the MDR, where the sea surface temperatures are absolutely baking. We are expecting potentially a major hurricane to make landfall in Bermuda. We're going to have another stream talking about that more in depth later tonight. But yeah, we can certainly talk about that a little bit this stream whenever we're in a less active period of weather. But again, while we have a supercell looking like this, obviously I'm going to focus on this, but again, we could see a major hurricane out of that. If you do want to know more about that, you can go ahead and check out my newest video I posted today. After the stream, preferably. So, yeah, I mean, we just gotta keep covering this, because this is a huge hailstorm. An absolutely massive hailstorm. Yeah, hopefully Bermuda will be okay. I mean, this definitely isn't going to be the most intense hurricane they've ever experienced, but it will be significant, for sure. And again, we don't know quite all the details yet, but we are expecting potentially a direct Bermuda landfall, which usually doesn't happen because of how small Bermuda is. But the track, I mean, it's going to go right over Bermuda, most likely, or if it doesn't, it's going to go very close, like within 30 miles at the most. Okay, so new reflectivity scan here, still showing an absolutely insane hook echo, so very clearly some inflow there going into the storm near Highway 36. Again, if you're traveling along Highway 36, I'd be getting off in between St. Francis and Armel, this area here. If you're around the Colorado-Kansas state line on Highway 36, basically, I would get off and seek shelter if you can. Again, this is an extremely dangerous hailstorm. I mean, look at that inflow. That is a significant signature there for some rotation trying to develop. And again, it's been there for a while. It's just pretty broad at this point. I really could, Sam. It really could make landfall in Bermuda. So again, that's an absolutely insane hook echo right there. Again, if you're just not tuning in, hopefully we got people tuning in from Kansas, Colorado. We have got an absolutely massive hailstorm right now near St. Francis, Kansas. This is in between St. Francis and Vernon, Colorado. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere right now. It's right over the state line near Highway 36. We are seeing a massive hailstorm that's been knocking out power in Yuma County. It's also tornado warned. Again, this is an all hazards in place storm with damaging winds up to 60, maybe even 65 miles per hour. Hail up to tennis ball, maybe even larger. Tennis ball size, maybe even larger. And then there's also a tornado threat. Again, this storm does have a tornado warning with it. Near Highway 36, we do have some rotation. So, and I mean, look at that hook echo. That does not happen. Again, we were measuring 80 dBZs earlier, which is insane. And it actually happened another time in its life cycle as well, back here near Vernon, closer to Vernon. You're from Missouri? So Missouri today actually should be fine. We may see some rain in Missouri, I'll say that much. I mean, especially if you're in, like, west central Missouri. We do have a couple of thunderstorms trying to get going, but it's nothing significant. But I wouldn't rule out some heavy rainfall at times if you're in, like, the Kansas City area. But outside of that, I mean, it's just going to be hot. So, that's the forecast for Missouri. Okay, and hopefully we got people tuning in from Kansas, Colorado. If you know anybody from Kansas or Colorado, send them the stream. Help push the word out. If you don't want to do that, at least make sure to like and subscribe, because that will automatically help YouTube push the stream out into the algorithm. But again, very significant RFD surge inflow, indicative of rotation with this thunderstorm. And again, we could see a tornado because of that with this storm here. And again, an absolutely massive hail core as well. Those blues in there, that's extremely large hail. Up to tennis ball size at this point. Again, this storm has been going for a while, guys. What's the risk for tomorrow? Pretty much nothing. The risk for tomorrow will mainly be centered across kind of the same area that we're watching today. But it's going to be less significant. I would be shocked if we saw a tornado tomorrow, maybe a landspout, but hail and wind across portions of the Four Corner States. It is not a depression, but it is a potential tropical cyclone, and we are expecting it to be a depression later tonight. What's up, Gooseman? And on Tuesday, we're going to be watching the northern and central plains, as well as the Rockies, once again. Shouldn't be too active, though, on that day either, but I do expect a slight risk for maybe some damaging winds and hail. So this supercell is starting to become a little bit less organized. Still definitely very concerning, though. Again, we need you to seek shelter immediately if you are included in this tornado warning. It does expire in 1 minute, however. So again, this storm is going to be crossing the state line here as we speak. It's right split down the middle right now, actually. We'll see if they continue the tornado warning into Kansas here. I believe it's, is this Goodland? Because I know this area is, yeah. So it's, both of these areas are National Weather Service and Goodland, even whenever you cross the state line. Okay, so they're not going to continue that tornado warning. We'll see if they change things here in the next couple seconds, but it's not looking like they're going to, so. Let's see here. Let's update the warning counter real quick. Now that we do have 6 severe warnings. We were up to like 9 earlier, which is a decent amount. No, I just don't think they're going to re-tornado warn this. It's really not actually rotating that much. It looks like it is on the reflectivity, but I don't think it actually is whenever we check velocities. But again, it's still an intense supercell. That hail is insane. Again, it was rotating more impressively earlier, and I've said that a few times now, but still rotating quite broadly, however. You're just not tuning in? Thank you for joining me. We are watching a hailstorm now in Kansas, approaching St. Francis and Bird City. It's going to be going near Hale, Colorado as well. Should mostly miss the town, though. And it's really going to be in rural west central Kansas here northwestern Kansas for a little bit. Again, massive hailstorm over Highway 36 right now. Warn for hail up to tennis ball size. Again, we've seen hail with this storm up to tennis ball size. And again, we could continue to see that over the next several minutes. So if you're in this area, we need you to get indoors and away from windows immediately. This is a large and extremely dangerous supercell. Again, previously tornado warned. And it's continuing to broadly rotate there. A little contaminated, but definitely some rotation. And again, it still does have that severe thunderstorm warning for tennis ball sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour damaging wind gusts. And again, I mean, it just looks like a classic supercell. It really does. And it really could start rotating again. I mean, this supercell's recycled many a times, so. Again, it looks like it's going to be mainly an issue for northwestern Kansas at this point. Eventually, if it lasts long enough, it will be in this region. There's no real major cities I can say here. Garden City, Hayes, really in between that area would be the spot that we're watching. Through kind of Roman's neck of the woods. But mainly to the north of there. And again, this is still an absolutely massive hailstorm. We do have some storms actually further than north that are producing some 70-mile-an-hour winds as well. We can touch on those briefly. 70-mile-an-hour winds with a couple of these storms, as well as lime-sized hail in Nebraska. These are all storms here all across Cherry County. Cherry County is a massive county. We have 4 different severe thunderstorm warnings, and that's only for like the central portions of the county. I mean, this is a huge county. You could legitimately drive for like an hour and still be in the same county. Forget about that. You could drive like an hour and a half and still be in the same county. That is insane. But, it's almost 100 miles wide. But we got a few severe storms upgoing in Cherry County. Again, also a severe thunderstorm warning now for portions of Garden, Grant, and Arthur counties for 70-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. That storm is kind of near the area where we saw that unwarned tornado a couple of months ago. That was Whitman that got hit. Whitman, off to the southwest of that region right now, 70-mile-an-hour winds. This is south of Hyannis at this point. It's approaching Arthur, so if you're in Arthur, look out. Make sure you're moving indoors. I do expect to see some intense winds with that, and it looks like the winds also could precede the rain. It looked like we had a bit of a gust front going there, so don't wait for the rain to seek shelter, or to get indoors, rather. Just do it immediately. They did condense the severe thunderstorm warning, but it is still for the same kind of alerts here. And apparently they estimated 70-mile-per-hour winds with this storm now. And they also had another report of tennis ball-sized hail, it looks like, because this says southeastern Yuma County, and this was kind of east-central Yuma County. I don't know, it could be that report they're talking about, but I doubt it. So, again, this is an even more intense supercell now warned for 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds, so I guess they did upgrade the wind threat. They didn't just keep everything the same. Yeah, I mean, it's more than a decent hook echo. It's a very impressive hook echo, and again, it was even more impressive earlier. It was around here, it was like this scan where I went live, and I was like, okay, that's insane. It really wasn't even rotating that badly either. The hail aspect, though, was absolutely insane with this. The newest reflectivity scans still showing a very clear indication of large hail and a hook echo, and again, damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour are now also a concern with this storm here. So again, if you're just not tuning in, we are covering a massive hailstorm in Kansas right now. This is going to be approaching the general vicinity of the Goodland area. However, right now it's kind of to the far northwest of Goodland. But Goodland, I'd watch out. I'd be waiting for this if I'm in Goodland. I'd be taking outdoor objects inside. Okay, you've got a few minutes. You've got several minutes. You've got probably half an hour at least. But this is going to approach you eventually. And I don't know if you're going to get hit directly by the worst of it or whatever, but it's going to be bad, whatever does happen. Again, we already have a severe thunderstorm warning going out for northwestern Sherman County, and that could extend into central Sherman County here shortly. So, again, this is looking to be quite intense as it approaches the Goodland region, and it's not really going to impact any towns before that, luckily, because this is like the most rural area in the entire country. It's not even going to go over any named roads or highways or anything. Like, nobody lives out here. But anyway, this is heading southeast again, so Goodland is going to be in the direct track of this almost. Still here? Alright. But yeah, I mean, Goodland, I'd get ready now, you know? It's looking like Goodland could take a head-on hit from this, honestly. And, obviously, that would go near the radar site. This isn't the kind of storm that I would expect to knock out a radar site, though. It's obviously not powerful enough to do that, but still, it's going to be bad whenever we're not able to really track this for a few frames because it's too close to the radar. And it's funny because earlier we had the exact opposite problem. It was too far away from the radar before the stream. And again, now it's the opposite. Okay. So the storm is really hooking out again. Again, to the east of Hale. Hale, I mean, you just barely got missed. You just barely got skimmed by that. I mean, you are lucky if you're in Hale and you don't like hailstorms. No pun intended, but, I mean, is it like Hal or something? It would be pronounced Hale, but it's not H-A-I-L, so, I don't know. But again, if you're just now tuning in, massive hailstorm right now, right along the Kansas-Colorado state line. Again, if you're in Goodland, you need to prepare. I mean, this is, again, I don't know if it's going to be a direct impact or whatever on Goodland, but you're going to get something. Now, whether that's wind or rain or hail, a tornado even, we can't really rule anything out right now. But what we can say is that you need to prepare for the worst and just go ahead and take all your outdoor objects inside, bring your cars inside. Hopefully the hail will stay off to the west of you, but we can't guarantee that, unfortunately. So, and again, this is not, I mean, it is kind of a small town, but people live here. It's a decent-sized town, for sure. So, alrighty. Getting crazy looking hook echo with this thing. I mean, it's insane. Again, previously had a tornado warning whenever it was rotating a little bit better. We have another severe thunderstorm warning in Cherry County. That's 5. We have 5 severe thunderstorm warnings all in one section of the county, too. Like, you could fit like 20 of these polygons inside of this one county without too much overlap. That's insane. We literally have 5 severe thunderstorm warnings all in Cherry County alone. They're not only in part of the county and partly in another county. They are all just in Cherry County. But it's funny, even though we have all those, if you're in, you know, say, southwestern Cherry County, you may not be getting a drop of rain. But you get into the central portion of the county, and it is supercell after supercell after supercell, and I imagine we may even see a flash flood warning come out for portions of Cherry County because of that. If we look at the storm total precipitation, it's probably pretty significant already, and it's going to just keep tacking on. And yeah, we already have spots that are getting, you know, 2.5 inches of rain in localized areas. So we may see them issue a flash flood warning for maybe west central Cherry County, that area. We'll watch out for that. This storm itself has some pretty decent rainfall with it, obviously. It's just one baby storm, but I mean, it's managed to produce like an inch of rain in some spots, which is kind of wild. I don't know if I called this a baby storm or not, but if I did, I meant it's just a lone storm. It's definitely not a baby storm. I mean, this is a massive hailstorm. Absolutely gigantic. And again, right now we're watching southwestern Cheyenne County. New severe thunderstorm warning for Arthur. 70-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Again, we gave you the warning early. So now's the time to get indoors, get away from windows. You should already have your stuff inside, your pets inside. If you don't, you gotta do it now. You got a couple minutes, but hurry. So, again, we're mainly going to be hyper-focused, though, on our Kansas storm, as it is a giant hailstorm, also packing a significant punch with damaging winds. So very dangerous, obviously. And yes, we do have a potential tropical cyclone now developed, for anybody wondering. And we're going to touch on that more in our next stream, so make sure that you do subscribe with notifications on. Hello, it's Kevin on Family Members All. Okay. Tracy Joyce, W. Again, if you're just now tuning in, very large hailstorm right now in northwest Kansas, heading for Goodland. Capable of producing tennis ball-sized hail, 70-mile-an-hour damaging wind gusts, and it's just, I mean, a very impressive supercell. It really is. Again, earlier it was tornado warned. It's at multiple spots where we were at 80 dBZs. Not even in a super impressive, like, not the most impressive spot for hail. We even got a tennis ball-sized hail report, so it's crazy. Yeah, it really is, and it was even more impressive earlier, Kevin. Okay, so that is not what I meant to do. You can see, though, with all the rain, cool air, I mean, also, it's going to be turning night, but with all that rain, cool air, look at this. I mean, it gets cold fast. Or not cold fast, but it'll cool down quite a significant bit. It's going to be in the 50s. That is kind of cold. 50s in, you know, Kansas at 7 o'clock. I think that would actually be 6 o'clock in this area. I mean, that's insane. And in fact, it already is, probably, because that storm's moving through right now. That's wild. But yeah, we can see by the HRRR they are expecting the supercell to go kind of track in between Goodland and Colby, according to this. Probably hitting Goodland, though. Crossing Interstate 70, Highway 40, and then eventually making it down towards the Highway 83 area. And again, tracking through kind of southwestern and south central Kansas at that point. Maybe goes as far as north central Oklahoma as a little rain shower still. So we'll watch out for that. So again, if you're in the track of this thing, I'd be looking out. If I just mentioned your area, you know, just prepare now. Bring any outdoor loose objects inside. Shouldn't be too intense for too long, though, luckily. As you can see, we're literally on the edge of our slight risk here, so. Alrighty. just a second here. Just researching something, just looking at something. Alrighty. So, Leprechaun Timmer's chasing plan has been put on hold until 5 or 6 a.m. Alrighty. What do we do, chat? What are we gonna do about Leprechaun Timmer? And this little hook shape here is something we don't like to see. That means we got inflow going into our storm most of the time. And that does lead to rotation. Now, in this case, it's really not rotating, which is mostly because it's also somewhat outflow dominant. See this little outflow boundary here, but you know. Alrighty, we are down to 4 severe thunderstorm warnings now. So let me just quickly update that. I haven't gotten any reports from this storm in a while, which is interesting. It is a pretty rural area, though, obviously, so got an interview with your alter ego, and jolly good grief, this environment, not even a pickle storm could make it. If I pull an all-nighter and nothing out of it, arg. Alright then. So the hook echo just died, but the hail threat is increasing once again. The hail was kind of dying out, but it's kind of making a comeback, honestly. He's mad? Like crazy mad or mad mad? But yeah, definitely a massive hailstorm there still. Okay. So, severe thunderstorm warning just condensed. No updates to it though, so. Alrighty. Just continue to watch it, not much to say, other than it is definitely a crazy hailstorm. Everybody on Twitter right now is freaking out about this. Alright. Sorry, I keep going silent, I know. 2.5 mile wide hail. That's kind of crazy. You're cooked. You are. Bro, but look at this. I mean, that's kind of a crazy progression. Just look at this supercell develop. And again, it keeps going through its phase of weak then strong. I mean, it's never been weak, really, in its entire life cycle, but it's been stronger at times than other times. If that makes sense. Stronger at certain times than others. There we go, Davis. Good job. And very large hail core there, obviously. Leprechaun Timber doesn't take bus well. It's kind of crazy. This storm is not doing very well on its past couple of scans here. Which is good news. Just a little annoying because it makes me look silly because I kept saying to Goodland, hey, you're going to get hit pretty hard. When in reality, that may not end up being the case. It also looks like it's going to go to the west of Goodland, but I imagine at this next severe thunderstorm warning here, Goodland will probably be included in it for precautionary measures. It'll probably look something like that. Include kind of western, northwestern portions of Sherman County, but a little further than what it is already. Tuesday, in terms of severe weather, may cook. I mean, maybe like a slight risk for damaging winds and large hail, but I don't think it's gonna cook. I wouldn't say that much. I do think that next week looks pretty, or technically this week looks a little more interesting than what we have been dealing with anyway. Ignoring Debbie, that is. This week has been pretty uninteresting, and uninteresting for severe weather, geez. Yeah, I don't know, it's not like a classic plane setup where we're going to be seeing supercells and tornadoes fire off, but it'll be something interesting for sure. What? Look at this! Okay, so are these airplanes? What are these? Look at this. It looks like they're trying to intercept this storm almost. What are those? Are those like bats? They can't be bats. It's daytime. What are they? They're planes, I'm assuming. That's wild. Dude, they're literally gonna intercept that storm. If those are planes, hopefully they're like landing in Goodland. Otherwise, if they go too much further, they are going to be hit by this storm pretty hard. So we're now down to 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in Cherry County in Nebraska. Still one of them for 70-mile-an-hour winds and lime-sized hail. It's pretty impressive. And this one to the southwest towards Arthur is now coming in with damaging winds and large hail. Looks like Arthur could just barely get the edge of the storm, though. Not quite as much of a direct impact as maybe we were originally thinking. No, but really, if those are airplanes, they're going right into the storm here. Kevin, do you know are those airplanes or not? I'm assuming you know. Again, still seeing some very damaging winds and some very large hail with this storm. If you're just now tuning in, a severe thunderstorm warning now issued for southwestern portions of Cheyenne County, Kansas, and northwestern Sherman County, Kansas. We should get a new severe thunderstorm warning soon, since this storm will escape the polygon soon, and the warning polygon will expire soon in general. We'll likely see an extension of this severe thunderstorm warning, potentially including the city of Goodland, Kansas. Now, Goodland shouldn't get the worst of it, but you will likely get heavy rain, lightning, and distant thunder, as well as damaging winds potentially. So look out for that. Some hail can't be ruled out, but most of the hail threat should stay off to the west of you, hopefully. Again, this storm was much more impressive earlier. Now fully in Kansas at this point, honestly. And this is right at the area where we were talking about where we would have a tornado threat, right at the tri-state region of Nebraska, Colorado, and Kansas. Again, I said it, the SPC said it, NATOcast said it. This is what we were expecting to happen, so at least it's nothing unexpected. But anyway. Okay. New severe thunderstorm warning for the storm on the northeast side of Denver. 60-mile-an-hour damage and wind gusts near Keensburg along Interstate 76. Make sure you're moving indoors between Rogan and Hudson in Colorado there. I don't know why I'm humming, but I am, so it's cool. By the way, new advisory out from the National Hurricane Center. I do believe. Give me 1 minute here. I know I've been doing this a lot this stream, but seriously. Okay. What's up, Mr. Storm? What's up, Alan? Checking in on the forecast. Yeah. Again, we're seeing a significant supercell right now approach Goodland, Kansas, with large hail and damaging winds. And again, maybe a tornado threat tries to develop. It kind of was a little more tornadically primed earlier, and at this point it seems like it's not going to produce a tornado, but again, the forecast could always change. Again, this was its most impressive scan by far. None of them are heading towards the storm. Okay. I wonder what these are then. I really do. If anybody in chat knows what this is, these little lines, because they're heading right into this storm. They're like trying to intercept it here. But yeah, this storm did produce very large hail and destructive winds in Yuma County. But yeah, we had 80 dBZs on this storm at multiple points. It was hooking out extremely impressively, but it really wasn't rotating that much, honestly. Again, damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour have been estimated, though, by the public as well. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. All of a sudden I'm tired, I don't know why. Sorry about that. Yeah, the bright blue is definitely hail. Yeah, that is very large hail indeed. May just be the radar picking up a sweep. It's possible. Yeah, and again, we did have that tan earlier, which is 80 dBZs. Not much. New severe thunderstorm warning now for Goodland. Like we were mentioning, the severe warning does now include Goodland. Tennis ball-sized hail and 70-mile-an-hour winds. The public has reported golf ball-sized hail in southwestern Cheyenne County, which likely means that actually the storm is potentially weakening. Or it could just be they weren't at the worst of the hail core. That's going to be in effect for the next hour. So if you're in Goodland, again, we gave you the warning like 30 minutes ago. Hopefully you have all your outdoor objects inside, stuff like that. You brought your car inside, your pets inside. Big-time storm approaching Goodland, Kansas now. Interstate 70 between Brewster and Sherman Village. You need to, again, get indoors, get away from windows at the very least. Alrighty. So, let's check out this new National Hurricane Center advisory here. I don't know if it's out on the NHC website yet or not, but let's see here. What's AST? AST Atlantic Standard Time. So AST to CDT. So it's 2 hours ahead. So no. What? That does not make any sense. Okay. If this... I don't think this is a new Outlook. No, it's not. That means it hasn't loaded yet. If it is a new Outlook, literally nothing's changed. So... By the way, let's just go and bring up the GFS real quick. Because why not, you know? There we go. So we can see that it does take Ernesto here on a similar track to what it was previously doing. According to this run, it's taking it a little bit longer to strengthen than the GFS was previously saying. It has it being a little bit weaker, but still obviously quite intense at a Bermuda potential landfall there, 965. Originally it was around 961. And then it has it going very close to Nova Scotia there, but not making any sort of landfall, so that's good news. And then we may have to deal with another tropical wave just after that, so. Let's take a look at the CMC, the Canadian model. Never mind, they don't have an 18Z run. Neither does the Euro. I should know that by now. But anyway. And if you're not aware, Miami-Dade County has 2,133.3% of its customers without power. Best chance for me is morning heating. The cap weakens, so one thunderstorm may be possible, and the Cape should still be in place. I mean, go for it. I mean, I haven't looked at all, but I'm assuming you're spitting facts. Why did I say that? Sometimes I say stuff and then I'm just like, oh, 2 seconds later. Somebody's gonna clip that. I'm spitting facts. By the way, on this date, 22 years ago, this is the anniversary of the Medina, North Dakota tornado. I believe that was an EF4. Or it would have been an F4. I don't know. What was it, chat? Anybody know? An F4. Okay. So again, if you're just not tuning in, massive hailstorm in Kansas right now. I do think that we're going to end this live stream soon, though. Because we've been tracking it for a while now, and it's just the same thing over and over again. And it's just slowly but surely weakening, so. We'll keep track of it here a little bit longer. It's looking like hopefully it goes mostly to the west of Goodland in terms of the hail threat, but in Goodland we'll still get rain, thunder, lightning, wind, all that good stuff. I can almost guarantee that much. Alrighty. The newest NATOcast outlook, by the way, it was 3 hours ago, so you can't call that new, but they did grow the tour risk from a 2% to a 3%. They actually have a couple of 3%, one being very small along the Nebraska-South Dakota state line, the other, again, being in this tri-state region of northwest Kansas, northeast Colorado, southwest Nebraska. Now, it's clear that if something was going to happen, it would have been with that supercell, and it's kind of out of a 3% zone now. It's having that, again, less and less of a chance at this point to produce a tornado, obviously. Again, you should take that all with a grain of salt, but compared to what else we've had, it seems relatively accurate. With damaging wind and tornadoes and freaking out over 100-mile-per-hour warning, I think it's actually 90. You remember being in Brandon Copics. Oh, so that was February 26, 2023. My first was on March 31st. April 26th this year motivated me to learn a bit more about soundings and stuff. Yeah, it was March 31st for me where I started trying to learn. But yeah, it really is pretty impressive. Again, whatever these lines are about to go right into this storm. So, I don't know what that is, but anyway. Let's see here. News here, thunderstorm warning. Once again for Cherry County, Thomas County, and Hooker County now. 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-sized hail from Mullen and Seneca. Move indoors immediately. This does not include Whitman or Weir. Weir's not really a town, though. Obviously, we all know Whitman. Jeez, I can't talk. Whitman got demolished 2 months ago by an unwarned EF3 tornado close to an EF4. It had EF4 wind speeds, but the actual tornado was EF3. So the outflow boundary, and it still hasn't turned out flowy. That's wild. Still a healthy supercell, yeah, for sure. It's weakening slowly but surely, though, like I said. In my opinion, I think it is. Again, we're getting to the point where we can't really see the storm because it's too close to the radar. Also, what is this glitch? Because this is definitely not my first time seeing it, but I've never known what this is. Is it just like the radar being weird? Alrighty-roo. But these are the current tracks right now for... so this is the GFS ensemble. Or these are the GFS ensembles. For Debbie, we can see some of them clipping Atlantic Canada. Most of them staying well out of the way of that area, though. But again, the general consensus is this is going to go right over Bermuda. So look out in Bermuda. And these are the GPS. So, again, similar picture. Weirdly enough, a couple of the members here, or the models, have it pointing towards Florida. Now, that's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you that right now. I wouldn't be totally and utterly shocked to see some sort of main landfall. I'm not calling it likely. I'm just saying it wouldn't shock me. But it's definitely not going to go far enough west to impact like Florida or the Outer Banks of North Carolina like this one random model they're pushing that out on the GPS and ensembles. Almost called them an ensemble. But yeah, you can see here the model track guidance right now saying that it's going to go for the Greater Antilles, Puerto Rico, and eventually Bermuda as well. So Yeah, that's kind of wild, Kevin. There are people like that, though, obviously. Nothing we can do about them, really. Just feel bad for them that they're a little... Alright, so I think we're going to end off here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I don't know why I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. I know I've been quite unenergetic this stream, but... Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you guys all in the next one.